Did you know the air inside your home could be harming your health more than outdoor pollution? Let me tell you how to fix that. In this episode, I'm joined by Mike Dillon, an expert in air water purification, to uncover hidden toxins in your home and how they could be affecting your energy, sleep, and overall well being. We'll talk about the best ways to detox your environment, boost your body's natural healing, and make some simple changes for long term health. If you want to breathe cleaner, drink purer, and feel better, this episode is for you. How's it going? This is Brad Williams with Over 40 Fitness Hacks Podcast, the podcast where I help you, being over 40, to fight the aging process without giving up your social life. I want to talk about this new SKOOL program I just built. It's free for the first 100 members. What SKOOL is, SKOOL, is a program that is a classroom-based tutorial website tied in with something very similar to a Facebook group, but on steroids. This social media platform has blown up since last January, and I just got in and finished my classroom. What it is I'm taking my Over 40 Fitness Hacks podcast and just putting it into this now community-based driven platform so I can provide tutorials on everything I know. Put the link to this in my show notes. Thanks for listening, and hopefully I'll see you inside. So Michael, I just want to thank you again for coming on my show. I was real excited to get you on because I've done episodes about the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat are doing way more damage than a weekend in Vegas, which I always talk about having a social life. And although with rules, all these other things I think play more into our overall health than just a couple weekend flings. So we'll dive into your company, as I can see on your backboard there, airwaterhealing.com. And we talked about some of the stuff you're doing with RFK Jr. Well, as one audience always knows, you want to get to know a little bit more about you, however far back you want to go in history, and just how did you get into what you're doing? So I'll let you take it away.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. It's such a great time to live in where we've got a platform where we can openly talk about these things that were so uncomfortable years and years ago that nobody wanted to be told what to do, what to eat, and how to think. But now that we're realizing that America is one of the sickest nations in the world, it's right on the precipice of this whole movement. And when everybody sees this huge MAHA movement, I think everybody needs to realize that MAHA it's about us, the people. It's about what are we doing in our homes. And to give your viewers and your audience a very brief background, I grew up in a very holistic household. My mom, unfortunately, in 2005, she got sick. And I thought my mom was going to die. Like, she did not look good. She wasn't eating. She was in so much pain. She had, you name it, from the ailment from A to Z. And she was taking so many prescriptions, which she never wanted to ever take because she grew up in like the chiropractic holistic realm. And her chiropractor that she had seen her like start to diminish. And he's like, I think you should go out to California. And there's a resort out there called OHI. The OG OHI was actually in Puerto Rico, but the satellite location they had was in California. And I think there's also one in Austin. Full disclaimer, I'm not associated with OHI, so always consult with a medical doctor or a naturopath before making a drastic change. But mom got on the plane by the grace of God. There was 2 hurricanes. If anybody lives in Florida, you remember '05. We had like one coming from the west and like another one was in the east, like a perfect storm. Mom was able to get on, and I think it was probably like 4 weeks, 4 or 6 weeks. My mom was gone, and I don't really remember like talking to her. Like maybe she had texted or something, but when my mom came back, she was off all of her medications. Her life was back. The skin tone was back. The twinkle in her eye was back. And I just couldn't believe that she stopped taking all of her medicine and she let her food become her medicine. And she changed the way she exercised. She changed the way she thought. She changed all the food that she ate. And when she came back, it had made me like, oh my gosh, there's another way. There's a better way, because the body really wants to heal itself. You just have to give itself the tool. You have to push it. So over the last 15 years of doing a lot of trade shows and understanding supplements and understanding the air, like you said earlier, that we breathe, water that we bathe in is literally trying to kill us. I said, let's try to create a source where we can change the air, change the water, and offer people some of the best supplements in the world to be able to catapult their body to do what happened with my mom. How can we give somebody everything that they need to bring their body back to that perfect center point of health and where they can embody their journey? And that's where Air Water Healing was born.
Wow. First of all, what is OHI? What is the place in California that you mentioned?
So good question. What the acronym for OHI?
So Optimum Health Institute.
Perfect.
Holistic Retreat.
So there it is. And when you go there, they literally focus on the root cause, right? So some people will be put on an intermittent fast, though some people will be put on a 3 or 4 day water fast to really get the body into autopathy. And they really teach you how to eat and how to let your food become your medicine. And for my mom, that 4 to 6 weeks that she was gone, it was an absolute healing journey. And
Wow.
I was just like, why are people not screaming this from the mountaintops? And I think we know why.
Well,
You don't have to mention all their names, but there's a lot of drug manufacturing companies that have been around for 175 years, and you know how many diseases they've cured?
zero. What? So you started this company after that experience with your mom. What were you doing before? Were you in the water purification business or anything before that? Or this whole event led you into this more holistic journey?
Yeah, so great question. 20 years in the making. I was in the trade show business and I was very big into the HVAC, big into industrial HEPA grade filters, doing bipolar ionizers, installing UVC lights inside of ductworks. And with the trade shows, I fell in love with going to the chiropractic shows and
Okay.
stories that I was hearing. Oh man, I was going to have to get surgery. Back was hurting, constant migraines, worst headaches you could imagine. Went and saw this chiropractor, and after 4 or 5 weeks, I'd felt better than I've ever felt in my entire life. And I think that's a big misrepresentation. There's a lot of pop, lock, and drop 'em type chiropractors that are out there that
Yeah.
do show. But when you really start moving the bones and the body and the joints and getting everything aligned, our 33 vertebrae from the top to the bottom, when they're flowing perfectly, it allows the blood flow, it allows your vitamins and nutrients. It's almost like a highway of stuff, of information that's going down your spine. And I was like, that's incredible. So I started researching and got really big into the chiropractic. And through there, I met some incredible people who formulate supplements and have cured lots of disease, reversed lots of diseases with giving the body what it needs. Because people don't cure themselves, right?
Yeah.
Your body is the one that does it. Your body listens to the information. And I've always known that there was a huge problem with the air purification industry because everybody's always been going after the source and trying to get the source to come to a filter. Well,
Take care of the source.
filters don't exist in Mother Nature. And if you stop what you're bringing into your house, all these synthetic chemicals, I think that people think that you have to rely on products that are sold to make you healthy. And there's things that you can do that's not spending money, right? Just stop buying products that say swallowed, you must call poison control.
Yeah.
You don't want that in your house. Just rip it out, brother. Like go on DuckDuckGo or Brave and ask your browser, what can vinegar replace in my house? You'll be blown away. How can I wash my clothes in my washer with essential oils and borax instead of using this synthetic stuff? And I'm like, no wonder why we're broke as Americans. Like I was at the grocery store the other day and I had to go pick up some like wheatgrass and I was at Whole Foods and I was like, my gosh, I was like, they're charging $40 for a jug of laundry detergent. No wonder why we're broke. You go to the borax section and you could get a Parmesan cheese grater and break that off and put 2 drops of lavender and your clothes will come out healthier, crisper, and they won't shrink.
And no rashes.
So yeah, it was a long journey. It was a long journey turning air water healing into the source where it is now.
Yeah.
But it was an absolute passion, and it was definitely seeing what happened with my mom and her journey at OHI and what it did for her and allowed her to reclaim her health.
Yeah. That's awesome. So what is Air, Water, and Healing, your company? What are you mostly doing? Is it just awareness? Do you teach people different methods or is it just a movement? What's in progress right now?
So the most important thing that we do is we teach people how to detox their body and how to detox their home. So I am a big, huge fan of the D, right? So we detox the house, we can detox the water, and we can also detox your body.
Mhm.
Use all organic, plant-based supplements. So if you go on my website, and for anybody that listens to your podcast on audio, I will totally give it the nice little clink here, right? So we use nylon glass jars. Our products never touch plastic. There is no plastic. There's nothing synthetic. We use everything, all nylon glass, and our stuff is shipped very quick. It never gets above 100 degrees. We don't submit the plants to any type of radiation, and we don't do any steam baths. So when the raw materials come in, everything is done as organic as possible. And where we separate ourselves from most other people is we actually use a technology. And I know if you've been in the wellness space for a while, you've heard of, correct? So what we do is we have a technology called microsomal. and it's plastered on all of our liquid bottles. It'll be very hard for you to see it, but if anybody wants to zoom in while they're watching, it's microsomal. And what that does is it allows us to take the raw materials. So, like if we're doing a detox product, right, and it calls for clove and it calls for wormwood, we're going to take those ingredients and we are going to soak them inside of an organic avocado oil or an organic olive oil bath. We put it inside of a glass beaker and we hit it with sound waves. The sound waves are certain frequencies and they turn the sound waves up so high that it creates little lipids that envelop around each raw material.
Mhm.
So reducing the size, the particle size. So you're talking like less than 15, less than 10 nanometers, very small in size. So that way it's more bioavailable for the body. And whereas most companies, you go on Amazon right now and type in vitamin C and then type in liposomal vitamin C, you're going to pay anywhere from 2 to 3 times for the liposomal. We don't increase the price. We haven't increased the price. We've figured out a way to do it to where it was more affordable, to where we can make our products better, yet we pass that direct right on to the consumer. So you're getting a better product, more bioavailable, and your body can absorb it better. Because, just bioavailable doesn't necessarily mean that you're able to absorb it. So our absorption rate has been proved, and we've scientifically proven this. So our whole thing is if we're making the house healthy, we're using world-class air purification systems that we manufacture and design from the ground up. We're not going and slapping our label on anything. We don't
Mhm.
label. We're not saying, hey, we're going to go in and we're going to slap our name. You can only buy our V3 air purification system from us. That's it. We manufacture, integrate it from the ground up. And when you and I were talking about the source, most air purifiers are not going after mycotoxins and things like mold spores. They're not going after pathogens and viruses. We're duplicating what Mother Nature does. Okay. Whether you believe in the Big Bang or you believe that we were literally put in the center of this universe and life exists here because there is something divine about the people that we have a creator. Okay. And in that creation process, there was never a HEPA filter or any filter that was put outside in Mother Nature. You can't be down in the Amazon. You can't be up in upstate New York and walk outside and just see a filter on a tree. The,
Yep.
the whole ecosystem was based off of thunderstorms rolling through everywhere in the world, everywhere it rains. There's not a place on the world that has ever been spared a raindrop. It rains everywhere. Inside of this closed ecosystem, when lightning strikes, it does three things. It scares the crap out of my dog. It, it creates ozone and it creates negative ions. So negative ions, when you pair that with our PCO cell, and PCO stands for photocatalytic oxidation. PCO creates an ionic plasma that goes out into the space. And I'll give you a really cool example. Have you ever opened up your blinds like late at night as the sun is setting and then been sitting on the couch and you've seen like the dust floating around an array of light?
Oh, yeah. Inside the house, and we're breathing that.
Right. But it looks like you could reach out and grab it, right? So what photocatalytic oxidation does is it puts out these superoxide ions that go out. Anything that you see floating in your airspace, it has a positive charge. I'm
Mhm.
telling you that scientifically, I'm not guessing. I'm telling you right now, if you didn't know that, now everybody hearing that can go and test it. If it's floating, it has a positive charge. So what we're doing is we're sending out millions of negative ions and they're attaching to anything with a positive charge and it's dropping it down to the ground. Now, where PCO comes in, photocatalytic oxidation is sending out a plasma that then reacts and creates something called superhydroxyls. Those are turning that weighted substance into a biologically inert substance. So it literally drops down to the ground. You mop it, you vacuum it, you sweep it. Most of our customers, after about, I'd say 3 to 5 days, we're getting emails and they're like, Mom was allergic to my cat and now she can come over to the house. She wants one. This is
Uh,
I had mold down in the basement and the machine went all the way throughout and found its little mold spore that we had in our downstairs basement walk-in bathroom that we built for grandpa when he was still living here. The black mold on the walls literally flaked off and fell off. We hear it all the time because we understand that we're using science to change what's inside of our home. And if we spend 90% of our lives indoors, I think it's pretty important that we clean our indoor air quality.
Yeah. I always talk about this naturopathic doctor I had on my show that she was the one that said that the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we're eating are hurting us more than a couple weekends of having fun. And if you put any kind of money into air purification right in your bedroom, that's where you're spending hopefully 8 to 9 hours of sleep. That is a ton of time being in one spot and being able to optimize that. So I totally am with you on that. So Michael, for air, water, and healing, is this more of a la carte? What problem are you having? This is how we solve each one. Or is it more of a program like steps 1 through 10 to start detoxifying your house, your body, everything? Or is it a blend of both?
So I'm going to say that it's a blend of both, right?
Okay.
We do have courses and we're not affiliated. It's just the university that we partner with. If anybody wants to take courses, and we're always offering free courses, anybody wants to follow me on Instagram, it's just the handle's Air Water Healing. We're always posting free content, free materials. Global Healing, which is like a blessing to humanity, they have something called the Global Healing Institute. And if you want to take a deep dive, you can even become a certified nutritionist. Go to airwaterhealing.com. All the way at the bottom, there is a whole link there where you can go in and do a la carte classes to learn about what types of therapies you can do, breathing exercises, meditation exercises, workout regimens, anything that they want to do, from doing an individual class or becoming a certified health coach. All right. They can even point you in the direction if you want to become a naturopath. If your state allows naturopathic care, they will link you to the places where you can learn everything. But where we come in is we vet everything from the ground up. We've had resources. If somebody wants to bring an air purifier that they think is better, we'll do it. I had a heart health product on our product page that I loved for years. And I told people, I said, if you can find something better, bring it to me. I was approached by a man named John Hewlett. He started a company. If you go on there on our airwaterhealing.com, we now have a product called Cardio Miracle. All the guys that go to the gym, any of the gym rats, anybody who's just got from an irregular heartbeat to anything that you could have an issue going on health-wise, increased vitamin D3, blood flow, lymphatic performance, insulin reception, cellular health and reproduction. After I saw the studies of what this was doing, I gave this to a very dear friend of mine who was on 4 heart medications. And within 60 days, dude was off all 4 of his heart medications, taking the Cardio Miracle. And I stood by my word. He brought me a product that was better. I'm not going to mention the one that I ditched because I still love them. They were really good. But now the only heart health product that you'll see on my website is Cardio Miracle. They do incredible job of helping with the endothelial lining and helping to regulate your glucose levels. And it's an incredible, you saw me earlier, I was taking a swig of it and I literally drink it throughout the day. It's such a good product. So yeah, there's a bunch of a la carte things that you can do. I won't even touch on water with you today because I could spend 4 hours with you what's on the water. But if you go to our website, we've got some water resources and everybody can go and just see what separates us from everybody else. Why we recommend hydrogen water. It's not just a craze. It's been studied. It's the most studied water in the world. If you go to hydrogenstudies.com, there's over 1,400 clinical studies on hydrogen gas being dissolved into water.
Yeah. That's what I love hearing is like a resource center too, not just selling things, but a place where we can go and dive into whatever rabbit hole we want. And it's awesome hearing someone like you who is vetting all this information. So it's just like a great place to talk about anything you want. I was going to mention something about hydrogen water. I started trying out a different method that I saw on social media. And it's basically you're using magnetism to spin something just to get the water circulating. So there's movement in that water. Thus, it's creating a certain type of water. Structured water. Yeah. What do you think about structured water? Because since I started doing that on my Whoop and HRV, drastically improving my HRV. And as soon as I stop doing it, HRV drops right back down every time I do it. So I'm like, I don't understand the science. Well, I know some of the science. There's probably not that much science out there on it because big pharma's not paying money to do it. But what do you think about structured water?
Structured water is incredible. Absolutely. Because what you're doing is you're actually helping the water get deeper into the cell, right? So at a cellular level, that's why your HRV is flying off the charts. I've done the same exact thing. I have a wellness center in Boynton Beach, Florida. It's called Self Wellness, stands for sound, energy, light, and frequency. We've got chiropractic care. We do a lot of work with children and young adults with autism. And I can tell you, when we give somebody hydrogen water, we can do a 3-minute HRV deep scan and then wait 5 minutes, give them 8 to 12 ounces of the hydrogen water that we produce right here on demand. And we will then do the scan again. And it drastically changes every single marker that you can, like it lights the brain up. And that's just what's so cool because hydrogen is it's like the smallest and most powerful antioxidant. I mean, it's number 1 on the periodic table of elements, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Can you marry the two of those together, like hydrogen water and structure that hydrogen water? Or is that what your product does too?
No, absolutely. You could do the hydrogen process and then put it in.
Throw it in for 15 minutes to get the structured.
Correct. Yeah. You just want to drink it within an hour.
That it goes fast. Yeah.
You lose most of the hydrogen. And I'll give you something that I don't even sell this. Okay. But I'll give you a really cool example. I've got a good friend of mine, Ian. He's in Canada. He's got a company called Activation. I think it's like Activation Technique, but he's all about getting the body to respond. And they do a lot of muscle testing. He talked to me about 5, 6 months ago, we were at a conference and he was telling me about this product that he found while he was in Germany. And I'm just like listening to the guy talk and I'm like, full of crap. I was like, come on, just stop talking, man. Oh my gosh, I don't believe whatever what he's saying. I was like, it sounds like sofu. A couple weeks ago, I was on the phone with him and I go, hey, you told me you were going to send me one of those products and you wanted me to try it out. I was like, you never did send it. The next day, like overnighted from Canada, dude lived by his word. He sent me this little German structuring wand and it's like a little metal wand and it's got some type of like super structured crystal water in the middle of it. And like in German, the big says it's like, do not freeze. Hot. Like it'll ruin, it'll explode if you drop it below like 40 degrees. So they ship it in this like little heat pack. So
Wow.
I'm like, all right, I'm a skeptic. I took 2 glasses. I just took my glass of Mountain Valley water and I poured 2 glasses of water and I swirled one of them for 30 seconds with this little wand. And I took the first one that I didn't touch and I drank it, right? I was like, okay, that's my Mountain Valley. Second glass, I took a sip of it and I went, whoa, damn, that's smooth. I go, I got arm hairs just talking about it, but that
Wow.
experience that brought it back. I was like, all right, that's me. Let me go get my roommate, bring him over.
Yeah, to do it, test again.
I want you to do me a favor, buddy. I got 2 new glasses, did the same thing. I said, and I just joked with him. I said, I want to see if you can tell a difference. I go, these are both the same water. I go, but I did something different to one of them. And he goes, did you put anything in it? I'm like, no, man. He said that you could put it in like coffee and it would cut out the bitterness. You could put it in a glass of wine and it would make it taste like it was aged wine. He's like, you could swirl it around in a cheap bottle of bourbon and it'll taste like a 40-year aged bourbon by switching this. Now, he's not encouraging drinking, just saying that that's what the structuring device can do. So I think the more that your listeners and my listeners, once people start to understand that there are small little things that you can do that can change your life forever.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible. Like I tell everybody, if you work out, if you're breathing, right? The third most common gas that's found inside your respiratory cycle is nitric oxide. Without nitric oxide, you will die. You could talk to anybody and you can Google it, go it. Without nitric oxide, you pass away. The reason why this is my favorite is because what this does for nitric oxide production in the body. That's why you'll find lots of athletes. They're doing studies right now about it reversing PTSD. And they're doing studies now that are like people that are at war, like they're having them take Cardio Miracle during their deployment and they're coming back with 0 PTSD.
Wow.
You can go read all the research is on the website, find the links, find the studies, but it's absolutely incredible when you start to rely on nature. All this stuff was here for us.
Yeah, maybe a lot of it might be lost information from the last 1,000 years that, other civilizations were using and it just got lost in translation. So what are you, if you had to summarize like kind of 3 of your top things that, my audience over 40 should be doing right now to start cleaning up their life, and either top 3 or just the top 3 things that you just keep seeing with like your audience that, they want to fix, what would those be?
So number 1 would be, and you don't have to buy mine, you can go online, just make sure you find one that is backed by IHS. You want to find one that's backed by the International Hydrogen Society. I love Echo was founded by Dr. Paul Baratero. That's the one that Dana White, we've got all the guys from UFC are now drinking it. Tom Brady's got multiple systems. He's introducing it to guys in the NFL because they're seeing the testing, like I told you with the HRV. There's so many cheap bottles that you can buy online and they taste like chlorine or it's doing something funky to the bottle. This is designed and from the ground up, it is manufactured by a genius. It's Echo. It's right on airwaterhealing.com. So you just go down to our water section or go to Echo. Everybody over 40 needs to be drinking 3 of those bottles a day. Save your money. Don't buy the $5,000 system. It's a couple $100. It's got a 5-year warranty, money back guarantee. Incredible. Over 40, you need to be drinking hydrogen water. Number 2, Cardio Miracle. The reason why I love the Cardio Miracle is because I've had so many people that are like, well, I take vitamin A, I take vitamin C, I do D3 in the morning, I'm taking K and magnesium at night, I'm doing this extract, I'm doing that. This has everything from A to Z, including nitric oxide. It's got L-theanine, it's got L-theanine, it's got shiitake, it's got incredible, it's like over 26 fruit, roots, and seed extracts inside of it, and it tastes incredible. You're over the age of 40, the second, if not third leading cause of death in the United States is heart failure. So we've got to do something because the food that we're doing and food that we're eating has been damaging it. And I'll tell you what, this tastes incredible. I promise you will not be disappointed. I would do the Cardio Miracle. Number 3, and this is where I'm going to make sure that you and I don't get this banned, okay? Or we don't. So if they go, I don't have it on my website. I can tell you guys where you can go and link and get it, okay? The second letter of the alphabet and the number 17. Second letter of the alphabet and number 17. If you can Google that, there's a company that is called RN, the third letter of the alphabet, and go on their website, and I would get the little kernels that are on there and eat 3 or 4 of them a day. They're
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. Once you're over the age of 40, your big risk of the C word from whether it's genetic or things that you've been eating. There's a tribe in Western Pakistan called the Hungza tribe. They're the largest of that particular supplement that I just told you. And they lived on average to be like 120 years old. And there's very rare, I don't think they've ever found disease in that tribe ever. And the doctors were blown away. You go online and they're going to scare the crap out of you and say, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And guess what, guys? I don't make any money on it.
Yeah.
I'm just referring you. You said over 40. I would be consuming at least 3 or 4 of those kernels a day as maintenance. And when you go online, I love it when somebody tries to do a hit piece on it and everybody in the comment section says it reversed this, taking it for 30 years, best thing, best kept secret. I don't even carry it because I don't want it on my website because I don't want to be flagged.
Yeah.
There's guys out there that are much more macho and they don't care. They'll just put it out there and pump it out there. But you look at the audience that Joe Rogan has, right? Joe Rogan, okay, you go on my website. I have the #1. I've got the best-selling methylene blue in the country. Nobody sells more methylene blue. Not a single methylene blue product sells more than the one that I have on my website. When Joe Rogan had Mel Gibson come on and was talking about, he's like, I've got 4 friends. All of them had stage 4 cancer.
Yeah, I saw that.
Now they don't have cancer. And what they were talking about, hydroxychloroquine, they were talking about fenbendazole, they were talking about ivermectin and methylene blue. And you got to go talk to somebody who knows your body weight. I'm not telling anybody to go out there and go start running and grabbing the stuff on the shelf. You have to know how to dose it. You have to know how to take it. But according to Mel Gibson, I haven't spoke to Mel Gibson, right? I'm just taking his word for it. But then when you go online and start reading all these other people, fenbendazole is a repurposed dewormer for dogs with late stage cancer. And all of a sudden now you're finding out that it's working miracles in people's lives. So, but those main 3 things, those are the ones that I'd like to leave with your audience. And if anybody has any questions, please, you guys can just reach out to me on Instagram, DM me. I'm always good at getting back. If you've got any questions about our products, how they're manufactured, what you think you should take, I could always connect you with a source even higher than me if there's something that you guys are trying to combat. And I promise you, I will get back to you.
Yeah, no, appreciate that. And I appreciate you talking about some of the harder to talk about things that are getting banned and canceled everywhere. I think for the audience out there, just like how you did it, that's how I do it, is not to tell people what to do or how to do it. It's just to know it exists. And oh my God, look how many testimonials there are. At least talk it over with whoever you like to bounce ideas off of, whoever your healthcare provider is. And that's huge. Just start the talk. So
yeah. 100%. And I always say, man, if your healthcare provider can't give you a way to get off of the medication that you're taking, then find another healthcare provider, because I've seen it time and time again where you take something, it's got a side effect, and then they're going to give you something for the side effect. And then another thing comes about and they're like, oh, well, I was taking my blood pressure medication, then it caused my feet to swell. So they gave me this. And then I started getting headaches because of the medication I was taking for my feet swelling. And now I'm on this. And then it caused me to start perspirating. So they had me start doing injections for this. The injections gave me a side effect to that. So they put me on an antibiotic. And it's like the antibiotic ripped everything in my gut. Now, so it's just like.
Then I started drinking this special water and all my problems were gone. So yeah, that's that. Ever since I started really focusing on like my issues, this was like 8 years ago now. Just one by one, knocking things out of the park. Started with my blood pressure, but depression, all sorts of other things. And, tried a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff didn't work. And I, always bounce it off of, I have like 2 doctors and I like my, what do you call them? Direct primary care doctor. They're more following root causes and stuff like that. But even sometimes if he's not into something and I want to try it, I do it safely and my blood work checked after. But I'm just saying, ever since I started doing this method of fixing my body, because in my 30s, just feeling destroyed, and one by one fixing all these things. And I'm the best I've ever felt, the best I've ever looked since my 20s. It's just unreal. So that's why I always say, take health into your own hands and do your own research, obviously.
I'll leave your audience with this. And I think it's funny too. But if you remember, gosh, man, what was his name? Matt or Trey? Matt and Trey Stone? One of those.
Yeah, South Park.
The guys that did the South Park, right? I will never forget. And now that I'm older, and let me show you this. I'll just pull it up. And if you want to insert the graphic, you can. I will never forget that they did the episode where South Park was like dying and like everybody was getting sick and they're like, oh, we don't know how to fix it. And I think Cartman called in and he's just like, they have like the grains, the fruits and vegetables, the meat and dairy. And then at the very top, they have like the fats and oils and things that are up there. He's like, to save South Park, he goes, we have to flip the chart. He goes, flip the chart. He goes, what? He goes, flip the pie chart. and they flip it upside down, and then it shows you consuming more fats and oils, and all of a sudden, like, the age expectancy shot back up and the disease went back down. And I'm just like, if you think about it, like, it's crazy because now there's a lot of people that are coming out and saying that the higher your cholesterol is, it's actually better for
Yeah.
some diseases. I saw that guy that was from, I don't know, some college student. Did you see the one where the guy ate like 800 eggs in a month? He was eating like 22 eggs a day. And like,
I've seen people doing that and like having the best blood work ever. And that's my thing too, is like everyone's different. So don't assume something's going to work for you, but there's no problem in trying it out and make your own decision. So
like you said, you've been on your healing journey for 8 years. Make minor tweaks. Start to see what's happening. I'm not saying, hey, you guys have to go out and go do straight carnivore diet, but just take into consideration that healthy people don't walk into hospitals
absolutely.
unless they're in an accident.
Yeah. Well, Michael, I'd just like to thank you for coming on my show again. And to the audience knows I'll put all your links in the show notes. I can see it in the visual here, airwaterhealing.com. And I'll put your hashtags on your social media. I'm interested in just the resource center too, just having a one-stop shop of learning anything I want about different supplements and different products. So I'll be checking you guys out for sure. But I appreciate what you do and just keep pumping, man.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.